problem. So let's talk about the problem first. And this is where I feel like in life insurance, this is where a lot of people are missing the boat. Okay. Let me ask you guys, and I want you to ask yourself these questions. Do you guys believe, and let me know in the chat, I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys believe that your customers and prospects, they're going throughout their life, and if they do not have any life insurance in place, or they do not have enough life insurance in place, do you guys truly believe that that is a problem? That they have a problem? That they have a real risk? There we go. I like the room I'm in today. I know you guys believe in this stuff. Okay. So we believe that there is a problem. There's a risk. Okay. Next question. Do you believe that the products that you can offer can be a solution to these problems and risks that these people have? Do you truly believe that? Okay. I love it. Now, let me ask you this. We know that they have a problem. We know that they have risks. We know we have a solution to that risk, which is why we want to just push life insurance on everybody. And we're like these product pushers, and we're like talking to everybody about life insurance and trying to push life insurance on everybody because we understand that there's a real problem that needs to be solved. Although that we know this problem and risk, do you guys believe that your customers and prospects think that they have a problem? Do they know that they have a problem? Do they know that they have these risks? Interesting. So why in the world, Betsy, why in the world, Andrea, why in the world, Christine, why are we talking to people and telling them you need life insurance without first helping them see that they have a problem? Okay. How much weight does my solution carry if you don't even feel like you have a problem that needs to be solved in the first place? How much weight? Like if you don't feel like you have a problem, or maybe you feel like, yeah, it's a problem, but it's a little bit of a problem, how much weight would my solution be? How much weight would that carry for you to solve that problem? None. Your customers and your prospects don't even know that they have these problems. So before you talk about any sort of solution, you've got to help them understand that they do have a problem. Okay. Now, when you help them see that they have a problem, like, look, we want to help them build out this problem gap. Help them realize how big of a problem it actually might be. Okay. How do we do that though? How in the world do we do that? It's understanding human behavior. There are two emotional drivers, the two biggest emotional drivers that cause people to want to change, which, by the way, guys, what is sales? Sales is change. We're getting people to change their behavior, to change the way they think about their financial life, and in turn, get something in place to change what they have. Sales is change. Okay. Now, do us humans, do we like change, guys? What do you guys think? Do we like change? We don't like change. We don't like change. Change is hard. Change is difficult. We like to just be in our comfy routine. We like to do what we normally do because it's safe, right? It's just what we do, and that's just what we're doing, right? We're people patterns. So we don't like change. Change is hard. Sales is change, which means sales can be hard. Okay. But the two biggest emotional drivers, you want to write this stuff down. The two biggest emotional drivers that will get people to want to make a change are pain and fear of future pain. If you are in enough pain, you will do just about anything in the world to change. Okay. I chipped my back molar the other day. I don't know if you guys ever done that. But every time I took a drink of water, warm or cold, every time I ate something, it would freaking zing me up. Like it hurt really bad. I kind of had like some little trauma growing up from the dentist. Okay. And so I don't like needles. I didn't, right? But I was in enough pain with this thing that I didn't even care what needed to happen. I wanted it fixed. I was in enough pain that I needed something to change. Okay. And so if you're in enough pain, you will do just about anything to change. Okay. But with life insurance, if people are in a lot of pain, we're usually too late. Do you guys agree with that? People are in enough pain, if they're in a lot of pain from life insurance, because it means we're probably too late, meaning something happened to husband, and now wife has to take care of all the kids, has to pay for the car payment, has to pay for the mortgage, on top of trying to lose her best friend, on top of trying to take care of the kids. All right, let's play out a scenario here. Husband and wife. Husband works, wife is a homemaker. We've got two kids. They've got two loans on vehicles. They've got a mortgage on a home. Husband doesn't have life insurance. Husband dies. Wife, let's play it out. What does life look like for the wife? Well, wife is now like, who's gonna be forced to make the loan payments, the mortgage payments? I mean, just let alone to just stay in the darn house and not have to sell out of necessity. What's wife gonna have to do? She's not working. Jody, you're right. She's gonna have to go back to work. What does life look like for her? Well, she now has to pick up a job. Who in the world is going to take care of the kids now? Is that free? Right? I mean, aside from the financial struggle of like having to pick up a job and hopefully being able to make ends meet and pay for the cars, pay for the home, like if she gets behind on those payments, the bank could repossess that car. Her credit tanks. Could really set her up hard, like for a difficult financial future. She might be in a position where she gets behind on the mortgage payments, foreclosure, boom, she has to sell it out of necessity. Now they have to relocate. What if the kid's going into be a senior? Now he has to go to a different school. You see the impact that this stuff can have on people's lives. We know that this stuff is a problem, but our customers don't. But if people are in enough pain, like this wife, this mom that just had husband die and the husband didn't have life insurance, now she has to get a job. Now she has to struggle in these ways. Do you feel like if she could go back in time, would she do just about anything in the world to have put a life insurance policy in place for her husband, knowing that this was going to happen? My word, I'm sure she would do anything in the world to have been able to know and to do that. But that's the issue with life insurance, is that people are in enough pain, it's usually too late. So that leaves us with the second emotional driver that will cause people to want to change, which is fear of future pain. How do we help people experience this fear of future pain in the same way that will actually create urgency for them to want to solve a problem that they maybe didn't even know that they had, or maybe a problem they thought was here that's actually here? You see, when we help people experience what the real fear of future pain would be, it creates urgency. Now your solution will carry weight. So we've got to help them first find and identify problems, then help them solve the problems. Okay? Write this down. We are problem finders, then problem solvers, not product pushers. Okay? Stop pushing your product of life insurance on people and first be the detective, understand their situation, and find problems, and then build those problems out. And the way we can build these problems out, and I'm going to teach you in these issuance reviews, this is how we do it, is through asking questions, asking the right questions. Okay? Helping the customer play it out in their mind. Like, if you died today, Dennis, what does life look like? Okay? Now, here's how we do it.
What's up, guys? Real quick, just want to let you know, if you want to get in touch with me directly, here is one way to do it. You can text me at 435-512-1647. Again, 435-512-1647. If you've got a question around pivoting, how can I pivot effectively, overcoming objections, or whatever topic that you feel like you could use help in right now, text me and we'll get you some resources over. We'll get you some trainings over. But also, if you want to get involved with us here at the Team Member Perspective and you want to plug into a community of high performers, of people that are playing at a really high level, if you want to get around those people and learn what they're doing and train with us and practice with us, please text me. We can get you some more details. Again, that phone number is 435-512-1647. Appreciate you and enjoy.
Let's say I wrote Dennis a small policy to pay off a loan on his car. Great, we're solving one immediate need. We get that puppy issued, we do an issuance review. I get Dennis on the phone. Guys, preferably try to get people in the office in front of you in person because you can read their body language. It's just a lot easier. If not, do like a virtual meeting if you can. And if not, do a phone call. Okay. But what I'll do in this issuance review is I'm going to review the policy I just wrote for Dennis. Dennis. So we've got you just bought your new Ford. We've got a coverage that's going to come in and pay that loan off. And I want to remind Dennis why we're doing this. Remind him what's in it for him. That way, spouse and kids would never be in a position where they might have to struggle to make this monthly payment, like on top of trying to deal with losing you. That way, they don't have this added financial burden if something terrible happened to you, like on top of trying to deal with losing you. Right? That was paid off. So we've got that. Dennis, it's $100,000 of coverage, so it's going to be enough to come in and pay off the loan on the car. I'm showing so-and-so as the beneficiary for primary beneficiary. Is that still how you want this? Great. So I'm just doing a basic review. But now here's where the magic happens, where we can help Dennis build this policy out. Okay. And these questions work here. We're going from a sniper approach, and now we're going into the shotgun approach in this issuance review. This works really well because Dennis, I've already told him it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes of a meeting. So he's carving out 10 to 15 minutes for me. Okay. So it's like the opportunity, it's the opportunity to go into the shotgun approach. Okay. So here are some of the questions that we'll want to ask him. They can help Dennis build out this pain and make sure, like, help him maybe build out this coverage amount. Okay. So we're covering that one immediate need. Okay. Here's how it sounds. Okay, so we've got this $100,000 of coverage that would pay off the loan on the F-150. That way, spouse and kids would never be in a position where they might be struggling to make that monthly payment or stress out about that debt, like on top of trying to deal with losing you. I guess, Dennis, I see that you got the mortgage on the house as well. I guess, talk to me. What would happen to the house? I'm going to ask Dennis what would happen to the house. I want Dennis to play it out in his mind. I want him to tell me what would happen, but in turn, he's telling himself what would happen. Who would be forced to make the monthly mortgage payments if you're not around, Dennis? Oh, well, my wife would. Well, does she know that? Hey, I'm probing here. I'm helping Dennis literally play this out in his mind. And these are the questions that will help you build this premium out. Okay. I'm going from solving the one need. Now I'm trying to cover more of the needs. I'm literally in my mind, I'm thinking LIFE. Okay, we're covered the loans. Do we have any mortgages? Oh, he's got a mortgages. Dennis, we're covering the loan on your car, but I guess talk to me, what would happen to the house? Who would be forced to make the monthly mortgage payments if you're not around? And the words that I'm choosing to use here, guys, matter. Who would be forced to make the monthly mortgage payments? He's going to tell me who's going to be responsible to make those mortgage payments. Well, it'd be Susie. Well, does Susie know that? They say, well, I think she would. I guess, talk to me, Dennis. Would Susie, what would that look like for Susie financially? I guess, without your income. Okay. I'm helping him play it out in his mind. That's how we create this fear of future pain and help Dennis go from a problem of yeah, it's a problem, but actually it's really a problem. That's what these probing questions do. Okay. Here's some more questions. Okay, Dennis. So what would that look like for Susie financially? I guess, without your income. And guys, keep in mind, I'm staying very neutral with the way I'm asking these questions. And with whatever he tells them, oh yeah, you're right. Susie would be in a tough situation. I'm not doing that right now. I'm building out this pain gap. I'm staying very neutral. So he's oh yeah, Susie would be responsible. Oh, she would? Not doing that. I'm well, does she know that? Right? Being very neutral, very curious here. Still trying to find out more, but also help Dennis come to realization that this is actually a problem. What would that look like for her financially, I guess, without your income? Okay, well, I think it would be kind of hard for her, whatever he says, right? Well, I guess, Dennis, would she, and maybe if he stays very general with me, he's you know what, Coulter, I think she'd figure out how to do it. Well, I guess, I want to dig a little bit deeper. I want Dennis to stop staying so super surface level with me. I want him to go deeper and actually play this thing out. Okay. I guess, Dennis, would she be okay financially to make that monthly mortgage payment, on top of trying to deal with losing you and take care of the kids? Okay. Well, culture, it might be hard for her. It might be hard for her. I guess in what way though? You see, I'm getting Dennis to go deeper, really go play this out. Okay. So and here's another question you can ask. So once I've helped Dennis actually understand that, like, oh my gosh, like we've played this out and like this is what would happen. Yeah, you're right. Like she would be in kind of a tough situation. And like he's kind of seen that now. Now we can just say, hey, Dennis, would you want Susie to like have this added financial burden? Would you want, okay, this is important, the words we use. Would you want Susie to like have the added financial burden of the mortgage and like possibly be in a position of stress, whether it's picking up a new job or, worst case, having to sell the house out of necessity? On top of like trying to deal with losing you and still take care of the kids, like would you want to be into that type of situation? I guess if you didn't have to, though. Okay. Well, Dennis, would it help you to see if we might be able to just have like the house paid off? Something terrible happened to you. That way, Susie wouldn't have to possibly go through all of that. Okay. See what I'm doing there? I'm now building this out, but I'm helping Dennis realize that there's an actual problem. Okay. I haven't done any sort of talking about getting him more coverage to pay off the mortgage yet. I've got to help him understand if there is a problem first and build that problem gap out. Okay. Is this making sense, guys? Okay. And after you go after the mortgage, well, maybe now, like, okay, so Dennis, the mortgage is paid off, the cars are paid off, all the debts are paid off. My mind, we've got L, we're good. Let's go to I, income replacement. So Dennis, I guess talk to me, man. Like, if the cars are paid off, the mortgage is paid off, like, would Susie be in a position like financial where she'd be okay to kind of like pick up the other bills and keep food on the table and just make ends meet? Like, would she be okay if we had all that stuff paid off, or do you feel like maybe we might want to look at replacing income for her? Okay. Then we're going to go and build out more coverage. That's how we can go from these smaller policies and build these coverages out to more death benefit in these issuance reviews. That's when we use the shotgun approach. It's making sense? Okay. Say that part one more time, please. What part, Esmeralda? Pam says yes, yes, but this is the deeper conversation. This is the deeper conversation, Pam. Like this is an issuance review. Okay. This is after we've solved the immediate need. Now we're going after the full comprehensive needs. Okay. Income replacement. Yeah, Esmeralda. So it's this. And guys, you can kind of tweak this and make it your own, but it's like, okay, I'm still playing it out for him. Like if Dennis died, okay, Dennis, we're paying off all the car loans are paid off. Susie won't have to worry about that. The mortgage is paid off. Susie won't have to worry about that. What about like the other bills, Dennis? Like, just to make ends meet, to keep food on the table, if there's any daycare, like stuff like that, like would Susie be okay financially to pick up those other things? Okay, like talk to me. What would that look like for her? Okay. And then it allows us to know, do we go in some income replacement? Okay. Daniel, how many years of income do you start at? I mean, industry average is what, 10 to 20 years? I think it's just up to the specific customer in their situation. The approach that I always liked that made a lot of sense to me is figure out like their dependents. How long do they want this income replaced for their dependents? Until they're 18 years old, until they're 20, 26, like, and then kind of work backwards. So maybe if Dennis's youngest is 4 years old, and Dennis, like maybe we want to replace income until this 4-year-old is 18. That means we need to look at 14 years of income replacement. That way, the 4-year-old youngest is at a place where he or she could be financially able to be financially responsible for themselves, right? So you can kind of work backwards there. Okay, is this helping, guys? Is this making sense? Okay. So the biggest takeaway here is like just keep it simple. Keep life insurance simple. Mirror the transaction in which they're interacting with you. If it's a quick transaction, be quick with your life insurance pitch and cover one need. But don't stop there. Get them in for an issuance review and give yourself and the customer the best shot at getting the coverage that they actually need. But if you want to avoid the analysis paralysis that I need to think about and I need to talk to my spouse, simplify it from the top. Solve immediate needs with the everyday transactions that you get to have every day. and systematize it, but then use issuance reviews to build that premium out, build that death benefit out to cover more needs. Okay. Yeah, Linda. So then you can just contact your underwriting department and say, hey, we actually want to go to this death benefit amount. Like, what do we need to do from there? Right? Don't worry about those back end things, but like worry about the actual like selling of it. Everything else will kind of fall into place. Okay. Biggest thing, biggest takeaway: be problem finders, locate problems for people, then be problem solvers, not product pushers. Okay. Matthew, what if they're content with what they have through work? So this is going to be, I have it through work, life insurance objection. Okay. Dig and find out why in the world do they feel like they're okay with what they have through work, but also play it out for them. Right. Okay, great. Like, and here's a question I always like to ask right after someone says I have it through work. Good deal. I want to acknowledge this objection from Matthew. Good deal, Matthew. But I don't want to oversell the work policy because I just don't want it. They're not worth overselling. Okay, they're not that great. They're supposed to be supplemental. It's not supposed to be the main thing. So I'm not going to say, oh, good for you, Matthew, for taking advantage of all that. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to say, good deal. So with that work, but now I want to understand more about his work policy, but also see doubt into the fact that he may not have enough coverage and it may not go with him if he leaves the job. Because yeah, I can tell Matthew, like, look, you probably don't have enough coverage to work. It's a great supplemental policy, but I want you to think what's going on in Matthew's mind if I just tell him. Well, dude, it's me. I'm the insurance salesperson. It's my opinion. It's not Matthew's idea. Which one do you feel like has more influence? Your opinion as a salesperson or the idea of the customer prospect? If you can help your customers and prospects come to a realization that and think differently about their current situation, about their current work policy or their life insurance plan, like that is the higher law of influence. It's their idea. It's not your opinion. But how do we do that? Well, we ask them a question. We clarify. So with that policy, so Matthew said, I got it to work. Good deal. With that policy, I guess with that policy to work, Matthew, is it like a full coverage type policy where it's going to pay off like all the loans on all your cars, pay off the mortgage, replace income for the next 20 years, pay for a funeral, like leave money behind for the kids? Is it like that type of a policy? Or is it just like a smaller coverage? Okay. There's a lot that happens in that question. I'm trying to figure out what he has. Okay. But also the way I'm asking it, I'm seeding doubt into the fact that he may not have enough coverage because I don't have enough to pay off all my loans, all my mortgages, replace income, do all this. I'm seeding doubt. He just say, well, I actually don't know how much coverage I have. Well, what do we know? Well, yeah, Matthew, generally what I see is it's 1 to 2 times your annual income. So I guess if something did happen to you, is that enough to pay off all the loans on your cars, the mortgages on your home, replace income for your family for the next 10 years? It's like, is that going to be enough to do that? Right. And I'm staying neutral. I'm just asking him, but he's going to come to realization in his mind, it's probably not enough. And I don't want to stop there. Like, okay, I want to still build some doubt into this thing and kind of help him understand there is a problem before I talk about a solution. So then I'll continue. I'll say, good deal. And Matthew, like with that policy through work, like if something happened to you and you were to get sick or hurt, you're unable to work and kind of for an extended period of time, or, maybe you're in a position where you left the job or maybe the job left you, like, or heaven forbid, the company went through some layoffs and you get laid off, is that policy something that you can take with you, or does it stay with the job? I already know the answer to that question, but I'm asking it to him so he can come to a realization that there is a problem. This making sense, guys? Okay, beautiful. I want to cover follow-up real quick, and then we're going to wrap this up. So I got to catch a flight. But biggest thing, I hope you're seeing like the common denominators of this influence with Sun Life Insurance. Be problem finders first and help them go from a problem of here to like go to here by playing it out for them. Playing out, if they died today, what does that look like? And as you ask those questions, you stay neutral. You're just the detective. You're not emotionally attached anywhere here. Okay. We do not want to communicate desperation. We do not want to communicate need. We're the experts. We're just asking you. And until we've found this problem, we built this out, then we're problem solvers, not product pushers. Okay. We'll change the game. And in your recommendations, remember problem, solution, benefits. It will change the game for you. Okay. Let's talk about follow up. Follow up can be frustrating. How many of us get frustrated when we have all these life insurance conversations? We give people all these quotes just for that. And they say, yeah, let me talk to my spouse. Let me talk to, let me think this over. And then it just becomes like we call them next Tuesday or yeah, call me next week. We call them next week and they don't answer. And then they ghost us. Like, what in the world do we do in those situations? You guys get frustrated with that? Okay. Well, I'm going to teach you a simple, like what to say in your follow-ups that will allow you to move through this. Okay. That will allow you to stop wasting time on people that don't, like you shouldn't be wasting your time with, but also to get people to respond and actually make a decision. Okay. Follow-up, guys, I want you to reframe follow-up in your minds that the purpose of follow-up is to rekindle an attraction. You want to rekindle the interest. You also want to help the person make a decision. Okay. You're not just calling to check in. You're not just calling to follow up. You're trying to move this puppy forward. Whether it's you're going to go forward with this or we're not going to waste any more time here for both of us. Okay. You want to help the person with these follow-up calls. Another purpose is you want to help them stop and think, you know what, I need to do this today. Let's move forward. You want to create a sense of urgency with them. Okay. So on your follow-up calls, okay, if you get people that say, oh, I want to think about it. Okay. There's some other things that we can do to prevent this from happening, but I'm going to talk to you about like, okay, you decide on a follow-up. Number one, don't just say, don't settle for like, call me next week. You need to schedule a date and time. You need some sort of commitment out of people in your follow-ups. Okay. Now, when that first call, let's say that you set a date for Monday at noon. Okay. You want to call Monday at noon, and this is what you want to do. You don't want to sound like every other salesperson. You don't want to use things that trigger sales resistance. Don't ever say, I'm just calling to follow up with you, Bill. Right? I'm just calling to follow up with you, Bill, or I'm just calling to check in, Bill. It screams you're just trying to sell me. That's what you might as well tell Bill. So instead, use something like this. Hey, is this Bill? Yeah, hey, Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you. We spoke a few days ago and looked at a few options for your car insurance, or we looked at a few options to pay off the mortgage if something terrible were to happen to you. That way, Cindy and the kids would never be in a position where she might be struggling to make that monthly payment. I guess what questions do you have? Okay, let me repeat that. Hey, is this Bill? Yeah, hey, Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you. We spoke a few days ago and looked at a few options for paying off the car. Heaven forbid you were to pass away prematurely. That way, Cindy would never be in a position where she might be struggling to make that monthly payment, like on top of trying to deal with losing you. I guess, what questions you have? Okay, you noticed in his follow-up, like we spoke a few days ago about this. I want to remind him what we spoke about, the problem, solution, benefits. Again, I want to rekindle this interaction. I want him to get it and say, oh, I need to stop. I want to make this decision now. Okay, that will get you into the conversation. It will keep sales resistance down and help you move this forward. Now, let's say you call Bill on Monday and Bill doesn't answer you. So he ghosts you. How many of you have gotten ghosted by your prospects or your customers? Let me know in the chat. How frustrating is it when you get ghosted by your customers and prospects? Doesn't it just drive you crazy? It's like, just respond to me. But here's the deal. Stop blaming them for ghosting you. There's something that you're saying, something that you did or how you said it that caused them to want to ghost you. Take that power, take that ownership. Okay. So if they ghost you, try something like this. Okay. You can use this in a phone call and a voicemail. You can use this in text, in an email, however you want to do it. I prefer to call. Maybe you leave this voicemail. Let's say that you call Bill first and he answers. Okay. You say, hey, is this Bill? Yeah. Hey, Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you. We spoke a few days ago and looked at options to pay off the loan on your car. Heaven forbid something were to happen to you. That way Cindy would never be in a position where he might be struggling to make that monthly payment. Because Bill, did you give up on that, or what actually happened? Okay. Now, if Bill didn't answer that phone call, he ghosted me again, and I want to leave a voicemail message. Yeah, hey Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you. We spoke a few days ago. Boom, boom, boom. Did you give up on that, or what actually happened? Hey Bill, if you just shoot me a call back when you get some time, it'd be great. Boom. Okay. Now let's say that they ghosted you again, and this is where I'm going to end. Okay. They ghosted your few last follow-ups, and you feel like, am I just wasting time or what? Like, this is the email you can send, this is the text you can send, this is, you know, however you want to do it. Okay. Here you go. Hey Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you on possible options for your car insurance. Or hey Bill, it's just Coulter Johnson getting back to you on possible coverage to pay off the mortgage on the home. That way Cindy and the kids, right? I have reached out a few times but haven't heard from you. Enter. Where should we go from here? Okay. That will get you so many more responses from your people, and you'll stop wasting time on people that aren't going to buy, and you'll able to spend more time on people that will. Okay. Because again, what's the difference between you that's selling 2 life apps a month and the other team that's selling 20? Does it the one that's selling 20, do they just like not have all the service work that you do, and like they have all this time in the world to do it? No. There's certain things that this team member that's selling 20 is doing that you're not doing, but there's also things that this team member selling 20 is not doing that you're doing. And following up with people that just won't buy, that are unqualified, that just aren't moving forward, might be one of them. Okay. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Like, we're in a follow-up business, but you've got to understand and think the way your customers and prospects think and feel. People don't want to be sold to. They like to buy, but they do not want to be sold to. The moment they feel like they're being sold to, sales resistance goes up, and it becomes very, very hard to get through to people, to actually get them to engage with you, to listen with you. And if they don't, they're not able to actually play it out in their minds of what actually would happen. The problem, if we can't help them identify the problem, our solution doesn't carry weight. If we can't tell them the solution, we can't tell them why it would be important for them. Okay. You guys are awesome. It's been great. That's all I've got, Dennis.
All right, that was awesome, Coulter. As always, we love having you on, and I think you have a wealth of knowledge and really useful information. So I hope everyone got as much out of this session as I did. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank Coulter for coming back. I'm sure we'll have him back here very soon. So stay tuned for our next session. And then just a heads up, next week we have Aaron Smith coming on. He's covering how to manage and team members, setting compensation. So it's going to be really focused on managing your team. And as always, we'll send out the email with the recording to everybody who registered within the next 24 hours. We'll include Coulter's contact information in that email as well. So if you want to get in touch with him, and otherwise, I just want to thank everyone again, and hope to see you on our next session next week. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.